Nepal's towering Himalayan peaks are famed for their rugged beauty and spiritual allure, but hidden within these steep cliff faces is one of the country's rarest treasures, mad honey. Unlike ordinary honey, mad honey contains natural compounds that can induce hallucinogenic effects when consumed in small amounts. This potent characteristic, along with the daring steps required to collect it, has given mad honey an almost mythical status among locals and thrill seekers alike. Yet there's far more to the story than the honey's psychoactive appeal. For centuries, Nepal's honey hunters, sometimes called hallucinogen honey hunters, have risked their lives on perilous cliffs to harvest this prized nectar. Their commitment goes beyond profit. It was woven into cultural traditions and spiritual beliefs that bind families and communities together. Let's take a journey and explore the traditional art of farming mad honey, the adrenaline-charged methods used to collect it, and the economic and environmental pressures that now threaten its future. Cultural significance of mad honey. Mad honey is not just a commodity, it's part of a sacred heritage passed down through generations. Among ethnic groups like the Gurung, Magar, and Tamang, the practice of harvesting honey from Himalayan giant honeybees has long been seen as a rite of passage. Stories abound of honey hunters climbing towering cliffs with only handmade bamboo ladders and ropes, guided by tribal lore and ancestral blessings. In these communities, the honey itself has multiple uses. Beyond its reputation as a hallucinogen honey, it is valued for its medicinal properties, believed to help with ailments like high blood pressure or diabetes. Some local customs also treat mad honey as an aphrodisiac, consumed in small doses to boost stamina. Rituals often involve offering the honey to deities, honoring the spirits of the mountains, and reinforcing bonds among community members. This cultural reverence extends to the bees as well. They're not seen as mere insects, but as partners in a delicate natural dance. The bees gather nectar from rhododendrons, flowers that thrive in Nepal's high-altitude terrain. This nectar contains grayanotoxin, the key ingredient that sets mad honey apart from typical honey. Consuming too much can lead to severe dizziness or worse, but taken sparingly, it's believed to sharpen the mind and energize the body. For the indigenous peoples of these regions, mad honey harvesting is also a social activity. Younger generations learn from elders during annual hunts, developing both climbing and beekeeping skills. They chant prayers, perform small rituals, and maintain strict respect for the cliffs and the bees they depend on. Each harvest becomes a communal event, preserving intangible traditions that might otherwise disappear amid modern life. The extreme harvesting process. Imagine dangling hundreds of feet above the ground on a makeshift ladder while thousands of giant Himalayan bees buzz around you. This is the reality for Nepal's high cliff honey hunters. Twice a year, once in spring, April to May, and again in autumn, October to November, groups of skilled climbers set out to collect mad honey from hives nestled in vertical rock faces. 1. Preparation. The journey starts long before anyone sets foot on a cliff. Hunters gather essential tools, handmade bamboo ladders, hemp ropes, and large bundles of leaves used to create smoke. Elders often consult spiritual guides or local shamans to select an auspicious day, believing the right timing can mean the difference between a bountiful harvest and disaster. A small animal sacrifice is sometimes performed to appease mountain spirits, maintaining a balance between the people and the wild environment they're about to enter. 2. Climbing. Equipped with little more than traditional ropes and wooden frames, the honey hunters ascend the rock walls. It's a heart-stopping endeavor, requiring exceptional balance and teamwork. One misstep can lead to a life-threatening fall. The ladder sways, the wind picks up, and the hum of countless bees grows louder. Despite these dangers, the climbers remain steady, driven by a mix of cultural duty and personal resolve. 3. Smoking and harvesting. Once they reach the hives, the hunters ignite damp leaves to create thick clouds of smoke. This smoke confuses and calms the bees, reducing stings and aggressive swarming. With a long pole fitted with a blade, locally known as a tango, they carefully slice sections of the honeycomb, letting each piece fall into a basket suspended below. Precision is vital. Damaging the hive too much could hurt the bee colony and reduce future yields. 4. Descending. After collecting their bounty, the climbers must navigate a dangerous descent. They carry baskets heavy with mad honey and fragments of wax, all while fending off any remaining agitated bees. In many ways, coming down is as treacherous as going up. Each step is tested for stability, each grasp double-checked before shifting weight. For those on the ground, the sight of these extreme harvest explorers is both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. Children watch with awe, and elders stand by with remedies for bee stings or injuries. It's a powerful reminder that farming in these remote parts of Nepal can be as thrilling and risky as any high-altitude adventure sport. Economic impact. The mad honey trade offers a lifeline to remote communities in Nepal, where other forms of farming or employment can be scarce. For many families, especially in the Gurung and Magar regions, harvesting honey provides a primary source of income that helps cover essential food, clothing, and education. Local markets treat mad honey as a premium product, partly due to its scarcity and partly because of its reputation as a hallucinogen honey. Tourists and collectors are eager to buy, intrigued by its high cliff honey origins and the extreme harvest story behind it. Local sales and trade. In local villages, honey hunters typically sell mad honey by the liter, earning far more per liter than they would from regular honey. Although exact prices vary depending on quality and demand, the unique properties of mad honey can push costs higher than standard varieties. This added value is crucial in areas with limited roads or harsh terrain, where transporting goods is difficult and expensive. By capitalizing on the honey's rarity, these communities are able to support themselves in ways that might otherwise be impossible. Tourism and cultural exchange. Beyond direct sales, a growing number of visitors are drawn to Nepal specifically to witness the bravery of the honey hunters in action. Organized expeditions offer treks to villages where tourists can observe the climb, sample fresh honey, and even participate in processing the comb. These tours inject money into local economies, boosting income for porters, guides, and guest houses. They also foster international appreciation for traditional beekeeping practices, adding to the cultural allure of the region. Some villagers have begun to collaborate with eco-tourism groups to ensure that the influx of visitors remains sustainable. They set guidelines to respect local customs, protect the environment, and prevent overcrowding. For instance, only certain cliff sites are open for public viewing, while others remain off-limits to preserve the bees' habitat. The honey hunters themselves become ambassadors of their culture, educating travelers about their heritage and the delicate bond between people and bees. Challenges of high demand. While increased attention from tourists and collectors has brought financial benefits, it also poses potential problems. Overharvesting to meet high demand can put pressure on honey supplies, threatening both the bee colonies and future yields. Some families may be tempted to harvest more frequently or, at times, outside the traditional spring and autumn seasons, leading to lower quality honey and stressed hives. This rush for quick profit can disrupt long-standing practices that once prioritized the welfare of the bees and the sustainability of the cliffs. Balancing economic gain with environmental and cultural preservation is no small task. As word spreads and demand continues to grow, local authorities and community leaders are working together to establish regulations and monitor harvest levels. These efforts aim to maintain the fine equilibrium that keeps both the tradition and its economic value alive. Environmental challenges. Nepal's rugged terrain provides the perfect backdrop for extreme harvest adventures, but it also creates a fragile ecosystem. The giant Himalayan honeybee relies on specific flowers, especially rhododendrons, to produce mad honey. Changes in temperature, rainfall, or land use can disrupt flowering cycles, impact the bee's ability to gather nectar. Climate change is exacerbating these shifts, raising alarms among honey hunters who have noticed diminishing yields over the years. 1. Climate change and bee populations. Warmer temperatures at high altitudes have begun altering blooming times, forcing bees to adapt or migrate to new locations. In some areas, heavy rains wash away blossoms before the bees can collect nectar. Elsewhere, prolonged droughts stunt plant growth, leaving fewer floral resources. honey hunters report encountering empty or weakened hives, suggesting that the bees themselves may be struggling to survive in changing conditions. 2. Loss of habitat. Deforestation and the expansion of farmland can encroach on the bees' natural habitats. When forests are cleared for agriculture or development, rhododendron groves often disappear. Less nectar means fewer colonies and less mad honey to harvest. Moreover, human intrusion at harvest sites, especially if not managed properly, can disturb the bees, making them less likely to return in subsequent seasons. 3. Over-harvesting concerns. Traditional wisdom has long emphasized respecting the bees and the environment. However, an uptick in global demand has led some inexperienced honey hunters to approach the cliffs with profit as their only motive. Taking too many combs or harvesting during off-seasons can weaken the bee colonies. Without enough comb left behind, the bees struggle to recover and the entire hives may collapse. This short-sighted approach endangers the sustainability of mad honey production, risking not only the bees but also the cultural practice itself. 4. Conservation efforts. Recognizing these threats, various local and international organizations are stepping up to promote bee-friendly practices and reforestation programs. Workshops teach younger generations about ethical beekeeping and the importance of honoring traditional harvest cycles. In some villages, elders enforce rules that limit the number of combs each team can collect, ensuring future harvests remain viable. There's also a growing push for scientific research to better understand the complex interplay between climate, rhododendron blooms, and bees. By addressing these environmental hurdles, Nepal's mad honey hunters hope to preserve both their livelihood and the awe-inspiring practice that has defined their culture for centuries. The efforts to maintain a delicate balance, respecting nature's cycles, ensuring cliff sites remain healthy, and passing on ecological knowledge are central to keeping the art of harvesting honey alive. Nepal's mad honey stands at the crossroads of human courage, cultural heritage, and the forces of nature. For centuries, honey hunters across Gurung, Magar, and Tamang communities have scaled high cliffs with minimal gear, relying on ancestral knowledge passed down through generations. Their quest for this hallucinogenic honey is more than an extreme harvest. It is a profound act of devotion to both tradition and the bees that sustain them. By braving perilous heights and unpredictable weather, these communities safeguard rituals that have shaped their spiritual beliefs and social bonds. Harvesting honey twice a year allows them to honor old customs, provide medicinal remedies, and strengthen local economies. Meanwhile, the allure of mad honey draws curious travelers, boosting tourism revenues and shining a global spotlight on Nepal's farming heritage. Yet the challenges cannot be overlooked. Climate change disrupts blooming seasons, straining the bees that produce this rare nectar. Overharvesting risks damaging colonies, jeopardizing future collections, and eroding centuries of beekeeping wisdom. As demand for mad honey grows, striking a balance between economic needs and ecological welfare becomes ever more pressing. In response, local leaders, conservationists, and outside researchers are collaborating to preserve these critical ecosystems. Workshops, reforestation projects, and harvest quotas aim to protect bee populations and ensure that future generations can continue this daring craft. At the same time, mindful tourism initiatives offer a path toward respectful cultural exchange and long-term sustainability. Nepal's rarest honey encapsulates resilience, reverence, and adaptation. Safeguarding it means honoring an ancient bond between humans and the land, while embracing practices that protect fragile habitats. In doing so, the honey hunters uphold a living testament to endurance and ingenuity, one that captures the imagination of anyone drawn to the powerful story of mad honey and its extraordinary harvest.